The next big thing that we were taught is the importance of delineating roles. What I mean by delineating roles is defining what are the roles of your company and what are they doing. The reason this is important is because one, everyone needs to have a clear understanding of what they are doing. Two, if everyone does have a clear understanding of what they're doing, we know who is accountable for what. So in this, I put if everyone is accountable, no one is accountable. What that means is if we are unsure who is responsible for answering the phones, who do you blame when the phone doesn't get answered? And the answer is no one. Because if no one was assigned that task and it's just whoever's available at that time, no one can be held accountable for it. And thirdly, it just avoids playing telephone. Because if the person in role 1 has to call role 2 to figure out that they actually need to call role 3, you're wasting time. Why did you contact role 2 if role 1 just needed to contact role 3? They should just be contacting each other directly to save time. So we've determined there are 3 different roles in our company currently. One is the admin role. This is what you can think of as the office. Currently occupying this role is the office assistant and me. The second role is the sales role. This is for us the estimator role, which is currently occupied by Scott. And then the third role is the ops, which is the general manager, which is also occupied by Scott. You can probably see a problem here. Scott is occupying 2 roles, and I am occupying 1 role with another person. And if this doesn't look fair to you, you're correct. It's not fair. And this is due to a failure on my part. About a month ago, I was handling all the sales for the past 3 years, but we recently gave that role to Scott because he seems to actually be better with customers and have better close rates. We're trying that out. The reason I'm in the admin role with the office assistant is I am failing at training the office assistant on how to do the job. We've had an office assistant for a month now, and they still aren't up to par of where they should be. Therefore, I'm stuck having to double check all their work, fix things that are wrong, and keep retraining them. And really it comes down to 2 things. 1, I'm not doing a great job training them. And 2, they might just not be a good fit for the job. But no matter what it is still my fault because I am responsible for training that person and ensuring they are successful. Or if they're not, replacing them with someone else. I just haven't been being a leader. I haven't been holding that person accountable. When they mess up, I haven't been sitting down and having an honest conversation with them about what they messed up, how they can fix it, and why they need to fix it. I have a tendency to, when I'm training someone, to reward, which you should be ruling by fear, but you also do need to be honest with people and hold them accountable when they are messing up. And I haven't been doing that. I've been living in la la land the last month and just saying everything's fine when things weren't fine. So what I've been doing this past week and the weeks moving forward is I actually am helping hold that office assistant accountable so they can be successful here at our company. And hopefully, over the next 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to start seeing progress from that person so that they can be successful here and have a long career here and benefit the company. And if not, obviously, then it's just not going to work. But either way, I need to do a better job as a manager of that person. The other big struggle is with Scott occupying 2 roles, he is obviously stressed out and overworked, and we can't have that. The advice we were given is to write out the 3 roles and every single task that person is responsible for. How we did it is we have here first the admin role. So we wrote out everything they're responsible here. Inbound calls, all the different kinds of inbound calls, outbound calls, estimates, invoices, tracking, everything listed out step by step by step. Then we have the sales role, so the estimator, so in-person estimates, estimates alone, answering project questions, handling customer estimate and project disputes. Then ops, GM, everything they have to do, so hiring, employee management, scheduling, routing, maintenance, purchasing of things. Every single thing that these positions are ideally responsible for, we wrote out. Some obviously are longer than others. Now, because we're a smaller company, normally at $800,000 a year, we can't just have 3 different people occupying all these roles and not making any money for the company. We need revenue producing employees because anyone who is not a frontline worker and working in the field is just eating away at profit. So what we did here is we put the initial of the person who's responsible for each task here. You can see the office assistant is responsible for all these tasks in red, and that's their initial. But I'm also responsible for some of these tasks here as well to help lighten the load and be more efficient. Also, because of, again, lack of training on my part, the person is not ready to take on a lot of these tasks, which again is another failure because all these things they should be able to do. That's the whole point of an office person. Then as you go down to sales roles, something we're currently doing is Scott is still doing the in-person estimates, but to lighten his load, I'm now going to do all the prop to walk loans, which are all the estimates that don't require you meeting with a customer. and handling that with him so he doesn't have to do those. Then the ops and GM role, again, to lighten Scott's road, I'm handling the majority of the hiring, all the interviewing, the onboarding. Scott's just handling like the trial day and the orientation, which is more the in-person stuff after they pass the interview. And what was stressed to us is, again, it's not going to be perfect who's doing what role when you're smaller. As you grow, obviously, it'll start becoming where only the ops person does these roles, and only the salesperson does these roles, and only the admin person does these roles. But it's okay if you have to disperse some of those responsibilities, as long as the three people have a understanding of who is responsible for what. So the admin person needs to know that they're responsible for these things, but I'm handling the sending of the virtual estimates and the property walk loan estimates. That needs to be communicated to them. That way someone is accountable. So for example, if scheduling FERT isn't done and we have a customer complain, we know that is Scott's fault. If estimate follow-up is not done, we know that's the off assistant's fault. If property walk loans aren't done, we know that's my fault. But this also means if things are going well, we know who to give the credit to. If all of the team project questions being answered, we know that Scott's doing a great job doing that. What was explained to us is at $800,000, you can just run around and not have these roles solidified, and you can do it just by kind of bare knuckling business and hunkering down and just gritting your teeth and doing it. But to grow over $1 million a year, you need to have these roles ironed out and people understand who is responsible for what. Otherwise, it'll just be an absolute mess. No one will know what they're doing. People will be blaming each other, and no one knows who's responsible for what. And some people might write this out like an org chart. Some people might do the chart like I did. Whatever it is, you just need to make sure that people occupying these roles, these need to be written out together. And then you guys need to fill these in together, because these are the things that are going to improve the labor, leadership, and profitability of the company. Because if everyone's running in a different direction, nothing is going to get done. Everyone needs to know exactly which direction the company is running so they can all run in that direction. And lastly, communication is a really big thing too. Communication standards. So something we instituted is we have WhatsApp group chats now where we delineated what conversations go where. That way we don't just have all these people calling each other all the time and asking questions to the wrong person. There are set chats now. There are set things that you call people for, and there are set things you just put in the WhatsApp. And we delineate that. We want to make it really simple, so we made it, if it is urgent and you need an answer now, you call. If it is not urgent and it can be answered by tomorrow, you put in the WhatsApp group. And that person, whenever they actually finish it, all they have to do is they use a little emoji and they put a check mark or a thumbs up, just meaning that they did whatever task was requested by the other person. So to sum up, don't worry as much about leads and worry more about improving your labor, leadership, and liquidity, and more leads will just become customers. And secondly, make sure your leadership team, you are delineating the roles so everyone knows what they're responsible for. It'll make them happier, it'll make you happier, and most importantly, it'll make the company more money because there'll be less wasted time. Everyone will be moving in the same direction, and everyone will want to help the company grow and know how to do that. And that's it. I hope this was helpful. Feel free to drop a like and subscribe, and have a great day.